Right.
And you have to learn how to navigate that. Let's go to myth number 3. Myth number 3 is good Christians don't talk about sex. That's why I don't watch Pastor Spencer and his wife, because good Christians don't talk about that nasty stuff. Why they talking about? I've heard people say that, why are they talking about that? Why not? God meant for us to be naked and without shame. But yet, throughout, I think the Puritanistic influence of Western Christianity, the hypocrisy of Western Christianity is this. We talk about a moral purity that was not practiced, especially during the institution of slavery. So they came and threw clothes on us and chains on our wrists, but then took our women behind the woodshed and took them by force. That's the hypocrisy of Western Christianity. I think the reality is that we can bring all of who we are to Jesus Christ, and the Bible tells us that the marriage bed is undefiled, meaning that God means for a husband and wife to connect in meaningful ways through sex. It is not taboo for us to be on here having a conversation with grown Christians about intimacy when God created that intimacy as a gift.
I agree. And sex is marriage is multifaceted. But we are discussing one very important part of the marriage bed, and that just so happens to be intimacy in the way of sex. I think a lot of times that many couples may not feel comfortable talking about intimacy and sex is because they have some shame associated with it, with something that they may not have discussed with their partners, or they don't know how to discuss something with their partners, or they don't have the language to discuss it with their partners. And a lot of that comes through maturity and being able to have that transparency in your marriage where you can talk about everything and anything.
I think at some point in our marriage, we hit a stride where we started talking about what we wanted. And so I think on the previous episode, we talked about how for years you had to kind of fake the orgasm just because you wanted to, you didn't want to hurt my feelings, and you just thought that's what a woman was supposed to do, just fake it till she can make it. But when we finally start talking about orgasms and talking about pleasing each other, our sex life improved. Mm-hmm. It's been statistically proven that most couples only know about 62% of what it takes to please their spouse, and only 26% of what displeases them. The only way I can know how to please you is you tell me, right? And I think that's where communication about sex is important for Christian couples. Talk about what you want. Yep. It's not taboo. It's not anti-Christian to say, I like it when you kiss me here. I like it when you touch me here. I think that's good information to share with your spouse. What about you?
I agree. Healthy couples openly talk about their intimate, what they want within their marriage, and and it's all within those loving boundaries that you have with your spouse.
If we never talk about it, how am I supposed to know?
Right, because I'm not walking around with a teleprompter on my head that says, no, I don't like this, or yes, I like this, or I wish he would do more of this, or I wish he wouldn't do, X, Y, Z. It's through those consistent conversations that we have, those transparent conversations that we have, where you can only learn that.
If God made it, we can talk about it. Somebody type in the chat, we can talk about it. Let's talk about it. You are grown. You can still love Jesus and still be able to talk to your spouse and to other mature couples about sex. And that leads me, when you talked about the teleprompter across your head, that leads me to the myth number 4.
Okay.
If you love me, you'll just know what I want. You should know by now. We've been together this long. You should know. What's wrong with that statement?
There's a lot of things wrong with that statement. Just to unpack it, there may have been a repeat of something that has been constantly said, and one spouse is probably frustrated because they're constantly repeating said whatever this is, and so it may come out like you should know by now. But then the other end of it is we may assume that our spouse knows what we like and what we don't like without really verbalizing to them what we like and what we don't
And you know what's
like.
crazy? That junk changes over time.
Yes.
Because what you liked last year, you may not like this year. What you liked when we first got married may have changed now that you
Definitely.
are in your mid 50s.
Yes.
So as we evolve in our relationships and in life, that communication, watch this. How many of y'all get updates on your phone? You get updates on your
Oh,
phone?
yes, all the time.
You got in my car the other day, they said, babe, how did you change the display on your panoramic view on your car? I said, I got an update on my computer, on my car, and it changed it for me. Watch this. How many of y'all have updated your sex life? How many of y'all have updated your intimacy? Because what used to move me don't move me anymore. And you still sitting there laying there pretending like a dead fish, like it's doing something, it's not doing anything, because your pleasure map has changed. And so you got to be able to download into your spouse and say, let's try something new. Let's try, kiss me over here, touch me right there, go slower, do this, because I have evolved. We all evolve, and it requires us to continue to download with our spouse.
Oh, absolutely, and it's a continual thing. As you said about the phone, I believe it may be an update that comes out probably every 3 months on the phone, and so there's a button that says, "Do you want to update it?" So that could be an open-ended question to your spouse, like, okay, well, every month, let's have a conversation on that. We'll talk about our sexy time. What works and what doesn't work.
Clarity is sexier than confusion. What do you think about that? Clarity is sexier than confusion.
I would agree. Being clear on something, as opposed to, you said clarity is sexier than confusion. Confusion is not sexy. So, but being clear on something could lead to it being sexy, especially when we're talking about intimacy and sex. But just having the clarity around it really helps to shed a new light on things.
And here's a double entendre, no pun intended, but closed mouths don't get fed.
That's true. You must starve.
You're starved. You're starved from affection. You're starved from pleasure. You're starved from what you really like, because you're not courageous enough to say, that's not it anymore. This is it. This is what I want.
And you know what? It's a way of saying it to you.
Yeah.
You don't want to hurt your spouse's feelings by like, stop. No, not right there.
Oh, that's so true.
So you want to be able to lovingly, because you may not know that, hey, you used to kiss me on my left side of my neck, and now it's irritating that you kiss me on my left side, and that's your spot. That I like. So now I want you to try kiss me on my right side.
How would you say that?
I would lovingly redirect you.
How?
If you're kissing me on my left side of my neck, I'm like, don't leave my neck out. Get my right side too.
I like the feedback you gave me last night. Maybe it was this morning. This morning, you was like, when you put your fingers on my hips, it felt so sensual. Keep doing that. And my male ego was like, for real? Okay. And that positive feedback, watch this. If you want people to repeat something, reinforce good behavior. I think the adverse is also true. If you're like, I don't like when you touch me like that, and then it kind of makes me like, well, I don't want to touch you at all. But when you said that was so sensual, that touch, I'm like filing that in my head, like, keep that one going, buddy. That's working. So I like the way you positively reinforce what you want. Clarity is sexier than confusion. Closed mouths don't get fed. Baby, what's myth number 5?
Myth number 5 is that we have to make sure. Oh my gosh, my
Sex
eyes.
is only about physical release.
Yeah.
Sex is only about physical release. That is a myth. Sex is not just about penetration. Sex is not just about physical release. This myth reduces intimacy to mechanics, ignoring emotional and spiritual dimensions. The truth is, sex is spiritual, it's emotional, it's sacred, it's covenantal, right? So, what would you say to a couple that says that it's only about physical release?
Just like you said, it's that covenant. It's about, you having that connection, not where it's, I think we used to say something about, maybe, or we heard years ago, oh, a man needs to, or a boy needs to release, XYZ every so many days. And that, to a degree, that is true. But remember when probably in the locker room they would talk about, what is it, blue balls or whatever. You can't, you gotta have a release, but if not, then
Every 72 hours.
yeah. So that build up. So you've got to be able to find that closeness, so that you're not in that predicament where you're saying, oh, it's been 72 hours, or it's been a week and I'm backed up.
But there is some truth. There's some biological truth behind that thought, because the more frequent you have sex, the better your prostate health can be. It's been proven that there's a decrease in the chance of a man getting prostate cancer when he's has a healthy sex life. So there is some truth to the balance of how we release, but intimacy is more than release.
Right.
It's about connection. It's about bonding. It's about, like we said in the last episode, that there's some therapy behind touch. And so for us, sex is more than about physical release, but that's part of it. As a matter of fact, I teach men in some of our classes about semen retention. How, you want to practice getting right to release, but cutting it off to save on your semen retention, which also helps with your health. So it's not always about release, and you don't always watch this. You don't always have to release to have an orgasm.
No.
Sometimes an orgasm is a body orgasm. It's not just ejaculation and orgasm are two separate things. And sometimes they can happen simultaneously, but you don't always have to have a release to have an orgasm. Does that make sense?
Yes, it really does make sense. But then I'm thinking too that the beautiful ceremony of sex is a moment. It's not, and it's a sacred moment that's shared, between husband and wife, and we need to really cherish those moments, and when you can, have as many moments as you possibly can, but when you can't, discuss future moments.
And it's not just a moment, baby. It's a ministry. You are my ministry. You know what I'm saying? I need you to come serve me. I need to serve you. Jesus said, the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve. And I think it's important that we serve each other in the context of our bedroom.
Yes.
We got to take turns making sure that the other is pleased.
Yeah.
And there's a book I love that we read before. It's called Make Sure She Gets Hers First, meaning that it takes a woman a lot longer to reach orgasm than it does a man. And so with that being said, women need about 40 minutes to warm up prior to the act. And so that's a ministry. It's a ministry to be so in tune emotionally with your spouse that you sense, okay, you need to be relaxed. You got a lot on your head right now. You got a lot of stuff on your list. Let me take some stuff off your list. Ministry, real intimacy starts in the bedroom. In the kitchen. So I might have to load some dishwasher. I might have to take the trash out. I might have to put the kids in the bed. Ministry, let me serve you so that our intimacy can go next level. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
And how does the wife minister to the husband?
Well, the wife ministers to the husband, one, on really knowing what your husband's love language is, because there are times that we may inadvertently give our spouse or treat our spouse the love language that we so desire. So if it's acts of service, do the acts of service. If it's physical touch, make sure it's physical touch, affirmation, whichever the one, but make sure that you're ministering to your spouse in the way that your spouse can receive it.
That's good. Yeah. That's so good. Listen, you can't build real intimacy off of fake beliefs. And some of us have to unlearn what our parents said or didn't say. Some of us have to unlearn what we learned in the locker rooms. And watch this, some of us got to unlearn what we heard in church. Because believe it or not, God created intimacy. He created male and female for this reason, to leave their mother and father, cleave to their spouse, and become one. And the Bible says in Genesis 2:25, and he created them male and female, and they were both what? Naked and without shame. So tonight, I hope that this has helped you out with the myths, in with the truth. We want to liberate you to walk in the freedom that God wants for you. We want you to get back to Eden restored. Get back to your own personal garden. Make your bedroom your playroom. Go back and have fun again. Fall in love again. Go and make mad, passionate love. Let the neighbors know your name. Have some fun, play some games, and rediscover what God meant for you. So that's it for tonight. But listen, we want to remind you that we got the Boo Bash coming up this weekend.
Yes.
This Sunday night, we got the Boo Bash. It's the monster. You remember the Monster Mash? The Monster Mash. This is the Boo Bash. Anyway, my wife act like she don't know my song. So the kids are not the only people that get to have fun during Halloween. We're going to take this and we're going to elevate it, and we want to have a costume party for grown folk. What are we dressing up as? Your favorite TV character, your favorite movie character. What were you going to say?
Oh, and I was just going to say it's going to be on October the 26th at 6:30 at Soul Cafe. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite. The cost of the tickets are $25 per couple.
What? $25 per
Yes.
couple? That's nothing. When we got dessert, we're going to have games. We're going to have prizes. Whoever has the best costume gets a prize. And Rhonda and I are going to be teaching you, watch this, how to have more tricks and treats in your bedroom. Somebody type in the chat, trick or treat, trick or treat. I want both of them. I want all the tricks. I want all of the treats. And we're going to have them for you. So you need to bring your bag. Bring your bag with you, because we're going to put some stuff in your bag, some tricks and some treats for you to go back home and have a good time. All right? Listen, what else you want to tell them about Eden Circle?
Now, just as we said, you may have to plan, to have, that intimacy. You also need to plan to be with other couples, to get the encouragement you need, but plan on a regular basis. And we have this wonderful program called Eden Circle. So if you want to learn more from couples, learn more from Stacy and I, we have meetups. We do seminars together. We have a great time together as learning married couples. Go to theedencircle.com to learn more.
Amen. Listen, do us a favor. If this helped you tonight, like, share, subscribe. Let's get to 1,000 couples before the end of the year. Subscribe. We're at around 700 right now.
Okay.
We need about 300 more couples. So do me a favor. Copy and paste this link. Send it to your friends. Say, girl, you need to check this out. Say, man, this man and woman talking about some stuff. And we are. Some stuff that's going to revolutionize your intimacy in your marriage. We appreciate y'all being on tonight. Listen, we want you to continue to love on each other and build the marriage that God meant for you to have. All right? We love you, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.